you know, yeah, help me understand your thoughts on like how marketing is or hasn't been accountable to the marketing spend.
Well, I think, what we're all trying to do on both the marketing and sales side is get attribution right, right? And we all want a little piece of that pie. And it seems like it should be a science, but it's not. It's not, because we're talking to so many different people at different stages. So I think when it comes to marketing, you got to really define what it is that you're trying to drive. And I think a lot of times in our space, it's not that difficult. It's sales qualified leads, right? It's good leads. Like that's really what most sales teams want from marketing. They don't really care about the part where, we put all the effort into making sure that we've got the best landing pages with all the social proof and that our conversion rates are really high relative to the traffic that's coming in, or all the work that we're doing to get them there. They don't care. At the end of the day, they want sales qualified leads. And so that's why I always try and work from where I say a more goal focused place than scope focused. Because I God bless a lot of the agencies out there that can just give you these packages where you have a certain amount of SEO keywords and we'll write 3 blogs a month for you and all this kind of stuff. God bless them. If they make up money feeding their families and employing good people, great. I can't do that because I know what people want today is the goal, which is, let's say, X amount of leads. And so I'm going to utilize all my resources across SEO, across paid social, across paid search, and anything else that I can do to do what I can to deliver the sales qualified leads. And I'm going to do a lot of A/B testing to get there. And it's not going to be like some clear cut package. And even when I think I got the formula, I'm going to need to keep optimizing it time again, because different things are always going to sway. So I think when it comes to, and that's why I feel like I work a lot better with sales leaders than marketing leaders, to be honest, because it kind of feels uncomfortable sometimes when I'm working with marketing leaders and they're really pushing for metrics that they're kind of vanity metrics. I didn't think web traffic is a vanity metric. Like, I don't think that really matters. But when we say, listen, sales qualified leads, that's what we want. We want you to go, hey, that lead that came in from that campaign, they were awesome. We just signed them up. That's a huge deal for us. Like, nothing feels better in our world, because that's the pressure we put on ourselves. And I think the future of marketing is going to follow suit.
I had a little laugh when you said, website traffic is a vanity metric, because I think you're totally right. And it triggered a funny story at the beginning of this year. Web traffic at PR fell off overnight from like January to February, 1,500 users a month. It wasn't catastrophic, but I was like, it's a big enough drop that we went from one month to the other. I was like, I need to understand what happened. Hey, do you want to take a guess? What would be an honest guess, and then give me a silly guess? What do you think happened? We don't do any ads. Nothing had changed marketing-wise.
I'll give you the dorky answer. Google Web Vitals. They finally docked you for having a slow website. I don't think that's the fun answer you're looking for. The practical one that came to my mind.
I went to everything in marketing and sales. I was looking through every source, and it was finally, I was venting to somebody that I couldn't figure this out. And Carla goes, "Oh, we turned off all of our recruiting ads." So 1,500, we were running ads, but I wasn't thinking through like the marketing demand gen side. And we had a ton of ads on Indeed and LinkedIn, and that was bringing a heap of traffic every month. And I wish I could say I figured it out quicker, but I didn't.
That's really funny. I'll tell you my quick story on that. At the end of, I think it was 2016, I was like, why don't we showcase all the websites that we built this year? And we'll do like the best websites of 2017, and we'll do it December, right? So that when people are looking, we get that year, we'll get to that SEO juice. And oh my gosh, 90% of my traffic came from that blog that in 2017. And we put all the different visual CTAs we could, download this, download that. Zero leads from the page that was getting 90% of our traffic. A lot of a lot of young web developers or web designers got some inspiration, I think. But so yeah, I do think that web traffic can be quite the vanity metric.
100%. I do think on the sales side, to kind of dovetail in, like, if marketing, where marketing fails is a lack of accountability and focusing too much on the vanity metrics. I think if we're talking about leads and generating leads, I think one area where salespeople have can fall down is only wanting the good leads and only wanting the best of the best leads. And I don't want to say being lazy, because it's not being lazy. It's about prioritizing. And if I have so many things to do as an account exec, especially if I'm a full cycle account exec, I have to prioritize, because your job is you can only do 70% of your job well, right? If you're full cycle, right? You've got 100 units of time and there's 140 units of work to do every day, or at least that's what it feels like. Don't check my math on that. It's probably wrong, but and so if I'm getting these leads, I try a couple and they don't go anywhere. I'm like, fuck it, these marketing leads aren't any good. I'm gonna write off the whole source. And I think it comes down to, this is not necessarily a failure of the rep. I don't think this is even a failure of marketing. I think it's a failure of the sales leadership and the systems. Because if you have trained the rep on, okay, this is the source, this is what to expect, this is how we're going to nurture each of these, and then you build the process for doing so, even if they are the not the greatest leads, those will eventually turn into something. If I'm a salesperson and I have the right person at the right account, I'm going to harass that person forever until they tell me to leave them alone aggressively. It's going to be multiple, like FOAD is the acronym we used to use. And I'll leave the listeners to their imagination of what that might mean. But if I got the right person at the right account, they don't have to have budget. I'm going to keep working them, because eventually there's going to be something that we can help them with. And so I think that's one area where when you're looking at the integration between marketing and sales, it's not, I think the salespeople take the blame for it because they're coming off as lazy salespeople, when there's a lack of understanding from maybe the marketing or leadership side of, like, well, they don't have any systems. There's no enablement. There's no automation. There's no process for doing this. And so you got to look at this and think, okay, from 0 to 1, what process do I want to follow? Right. And so if you're seeing that, then the answer is not marketing sucks or sales sucks or that Bob, the sales guy, sucks. It's, you need some process and maybe a touch of automation, but you absolutely should do process first.
Yeah. And I also just feel like a lot of times they're not playing in the same sandbox. So it's like they have this, like, it's like a preemptive blame game of, like, when things don't go wrong, how do we leave the door open to blame the other one, so that we don't have to take the hit. And I don't think that works well at all. I think, as we've probably seen over the last 10 years, so many companies really being able to put those two together in its own department, its own revenue department under a chief revenue officer. I between that and the way the technology speaks to one another and having to play in the same systems, I do believe that those silos are breaking down in ways that we've never seen before. But I also think that everybody, like, there has to be a desire, right? There has to be a desire from both sides. And sometimes there's, you feel like even when you're on the same team, like they're like the enemy, they're the nemesis. And that's never how you want to be working within an organization. But I think, like you said, when you don't have the right systems and processes in place, that's when that happens, right? The chaos is what leads to the friction, more so than the actual work. Because I do believe that when these two functions are working together in unison, they hum, man. It's really great. You probably worked with marketers where things have been really good and where things have been really bad. And when you got that support, I mean, it's so much easier, right?